This video is sponsored by Grand Chase, which is a sequel to the popular Grand Chase PC game that launched in the early 2000s. Now it is very player friendly, so you're not forced to pay to progress. All characters can be collected without paying. Now it's a gather and slay type of game, which is packed with real-time strategy action RPG. And even better, you can play on your phone or on your PC using BlueStack. So link is going to be down in the description, guys. So last KVK, I actually got super busy and a lot of stuff came up that I was not counting on. So the regular stream that I would usually do during KVK, etc., I couldn't do. But we actually found this trap right here at 291 million might. And we set quite a few rallies on him. Now, we kind of figured that he was going to be online, but we did get a nice scout, so that means that we knew exactly what we needed to do. And I believe we had either 3 or 4 rallies going, and there was cavalry and then range. I don't think we had an infantry rally, mainly because he was one of those traps that is going to be mainly ranged and cavalry. And the whole idea behind those kind of traps is that they're going to mass cavalry and ranged troops, and then they usually count on their guild to give them around 1 million T4 infantry reinforcements. So that usually works out, but I don't think that this guy had his trap all completed. Granted, it looked like his heroes and his gear were okay, but I don't think his troop composition was the best. So we figured he's online, but I'm pretty sure we can still crack him. And as you guys know, sometimes in KVK, especially depending on what kingdom you're matched against, sometimes you just have nothing to hit. So you go ahead and you just look for stuff to just send a rally at, even if maybe you might not walk back, whatever, just to have a little bit of fun. And I keep saying, IGG, we should probably start merging kingdoms. We have way too many kingdoms and the population is starting to thin out. So we should probably start merging, but that's a different topic for another day. So in this case, we had all our rallies set. I believe our rally was supposed to hit at the very end. So I believe we were full ranged. So the whole idea here was first couple of rallies were going to be cavalry, and I believe the next couple were going to be range, just to try to break through the little infantry he had and then really go into his troops. Because even if you have a ton of cavalry and ranged, if you get a whole rally that's just ranged, it is going to freaking hurt. So once you have all of the prerequisites, you have all your talent set up, and you have especially the timer, because that's the most important thing. Another thing that I usually say is do not scout unnecessarily or don't send notifications, etc. And that usually always applies unless you know that the target is 100% online, which in this case we knew that he was online. So the idea was to just go ahead and spam the hell out of him, because that does 2 things. Number one, it makes it super hard for them to actually see what's coming at them as far as the rallies, because they have to go through all the scouts, all through the attacks, and try to find the rallies. Not only that, there's going to be multiple rallies, so it's going to be hard for him to see 3 or 4 rallies and know exactly what's coming. The other thing is that you never know. You might actually make their app crash. It might make their app slow, and that means that he's going to be slow to react. I mean, they're even sending familiar attacks. So there we go. I believe we start seeing here the rallies walk. And keep in mind his starting might, 291. I'm pretty sure I also get a scout on him, and you see his gear. He actually did switch to his war gear, so he definitely was online like we thought. And he popped a 70% army attack boost. But here's the issue. He only has 6.5 million troops. Now, I don't know if that scout was after a hit, but even then, for a rally trap, or for the rally trap composition that he was going for, he needed way more troops than that. And here's another thing. After he took those rallies, he is still in time to go ahead and shield just to kind of cut his losses, because this full range rally is going to freaking hurt. And it doesn't burn, but look at him. He's down to 178 million. And as a rally trap, he definitely was not complete as far as his troop composition. His heroes and everything were okay, but you gotta know when to actually go ahead and stop. Look at that, 3 million dead off of something that he could have shielded. Now, I don't know if maybe all the spamming, etc., maybe he glitched this game out and he had to force close, etc. Maybe that was it. But, I mean, I don't know exactly what he was thinking. Look at that. Like, he was in no position to take that rally, and for some reason, he actually took it. So, I don't know. I'm in the camp that maybe his game crashed, or it slowed down or something, and he couldn't react on time. But he only had 1 million troops left, and that was easily soloable. So, honestly, if we would have soloed right here, we would have actually zeroed. But, you know, when there's multiple rallies, maybe sometimes you don't know exactly what's left. Unfortunately, he shields right after. But it's a bit too late because your 70% army attack boost is gone. Your troops are gone. Your rally trap is pretty much destroyed. And this was all something that could have been prevented. Like, you could have shielded. So I don't know what happened there, but I would say this. If you're going to be taking rallies, especially if you're baiting rallies, make sure that you're on a device that you can actually trust. Make sure that it's a device that when all the scouts and attacks come flying, it's not just going to go ahead and just crap out on you. Or use something reliable like a emulator like BlueStacks that, you know, that can go ahead and handle all that stress. Because if you don't, and his app did close, and you know when he came back up, all he could do was shield after he got destroyed. Well, it's a bit too late, isn't it? So yeah, lesson learned for that guy. And next time, hopefully, he'll get more troops. Number one, but he'll have more reliable stuff. Now here's a little bit of an added bonus. Baby Leia here, she found a target that we can go ahead and solo. So I wanted this camp to go ahead and be cleared and port right next to him. Now, here's a couple of things that I want to talk about as far as when you're soloing people. Number one, make sure that you change talents. That is super, super important. Don't ever hit people if you're not on war talents because you're going to be hurt. And in some cases, it's actually beneficial to switch between all infantry, all cavalry, all range talents, etc. Now, I went with my regular war talents because I knew that I would have to hit with different troop types. But in general, you definitely want to do that. The next thing is you absolutely should be using max army size boost because yes, it'll cost you some gems. In this case, I used the 50, so it'll cost me 5,000 gems. But this army size boost, what it actually does is that it'll allowing me to send more troops is actually saving more troops than I would have lost. Because if a march is 250,000 only, I would lose so much more than I did when I sent 375. So all of those troops that I would have lost additionally would have cost me those 5,000 gems easily. Now, unfortunately, in this hit, I sent cavalry. He was in range phalanx. So that means that my guess was bad. But, I mean, technically, I still didn't do too bad. And he has Prima Donna in the freaking wall. Like, why? Why? Who? Why? Just... Anyway, so I know exactly what I have to hit with. He's in range phalanx, so I gotta go ahead and send that infantry hit. The phalanxes, I explained in a couple of videos already why I changed the phalanx. It's not important for you to send infantry phalanx when you're sending infantry, but it is important to send it in different ways. If you want to know more about why I do that, I'll probably leave a link in the description as to why I do that. That way you can check it out. And it does help a lot, especially whether it's rallies, solos. It does help a lot. And then here, we're just going to go ahead and clean him out. In this case, half of his troops were already gone after that first hit. And I know when there's infantry and cavalry left, of course, you play that rock, paper, scissors game. And you send cavalry because that's what's going to hit the hardest. So there it is. Don Lujo completely gone. Now, here's the thing. After you finish your solo and all of that, or you're finished rallying, the important thing after that is, of course, healing. Because you don't want to have full infirmaries in case you get rallied or soloed or whatever. For those of you free-to-play players out there that are looking into getting T4 and all of that, this is the part that often gets missed. T4 is not very fun to heal, so yeah, make sure that you know that going forward. That way, when you have to heal a ton, you're not super caught off guard. But yeah, appreciate you guys for watching, and until later, bye.